Hey, Sammy Bones here again. First I want to thank Scott Fowler for holding this camera and doing amazing camera work. Good job, Scotty, good job. Anyways, this next part we're going to show you how to glue the nut back on if it's come loose, and I'll show you what I mean by come loose. The nut sometimes will break free here and it'll be able to move like this. That's bad. If that happens, you're not going to be able to keep the guitar in tune very well, and it's going to really wreak havoc on you when you're playing. So to fix that, what you want to do first is loosen all the strings. Just get a string winder here. I'm just going to go real quick, loosen all the strings, and once all the strings are loose, I'm going to take some a new tube of krazy glue. And I use new tubes of krazy glue because the old tubes seem to want to gunk up really bad. Like here's an old tube that I just got out to try, but you take the cap off and it's nothing's coming out. And instead of trying to cut the tube, make a mess, I just always go for a brand new tube of krazy glue. I'm going to get it ready. Get the krazy glue ready by putting it on here, away from the guitar, of course. Down here, I'm going to put the krazy glue cap on. And before I get anywhere near the guitar nut, I'm going to actually test the krazy glue on the paper, make sure it's the size of the drop, and see how it's dropping out real good. If you can see that. There you go. So it looks good. And then real quick before it dries out, now that our strings are loose up here, I take the strings, I just lift them off, spread them apart like this, okay, just temporarily like that, and you take the nut and just pull it off, slide it off, and you feel the back of the nut, and if it's got a lot of gunk on it, just take some either 220 grit or 400 grit sandpaper. This is 220 here, and you just take a little bit, and on a flat surface, just give it a little tiny rub just to get some of that gunk off. Or you can use 400 grit, same thing, make sure it's a flat surface when you're rubbing, just to get some of the gunk off. I've already done that on this one, it's all clean. And so you spread the strings apart, and on the with the krazy glue, before you, away from the guitar always, just put one little dab, okay, just to the side, either side, not in the middle, but just to the side, one tiny drop. See, a little tiny dab, if you can see that little tiny dab of glue. One little dab of krazy glue is all you need. And then you take that one little dab and make sure you put it back on the right direction, meaning that the big slots are over here and the little slots are by the high strings. With one dab of krazy glue, you put it on, and then real quick you put the strings back in place like this. And you want to tighten up your middle strings first when you do this, okay? And you feel on the sides here with your fingers and get it slid back in. Once it's in place, hold it with your finger and grab it and tighten to tension the middle two strings until you can. They don't have to be perfectly tuned, but just so they're tightened up. And that right there is all you have to do. And in about 2 minutes, this thing will be, the krazy glue will be dry. I'm going to cap up my other krazy glue. So I'm sure it won't be good anymore, but that's okay. Always good for new tubes. And that's all you have to do to glue your nut back on so it doesn't slide all over. And the reason I only use one drop instead of more glue than that is because if you use any more than that, the nut will break if you try to remove it or replace it or fix anything in regards to that. If you use one drop, it'll keep it from sliding, but you'll easily be able to pry it off if you have to get it off for some reason, to replace it or anything like that. So that's why you just use one little tiny drop of krazy glue, and no other type of glue, like Elmer's glue or wood glue is not good because it's too thick and it's bad. Always use the krazy glue with one little drop. That's it. And thanks again to Scotty Fowler. This is Sammy Bones. See you next time.